Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Live with Lloyd. I am your host, Astro-Numerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. On this beautiful image you see are five great individuals, all who have earned the gift of what they do in their own right. And I got all of them live, including me. Okay. And so this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful show. We're going to be talking about what is going on, why they are here. I don't think I've done as many as five, so this would be new. I'm not going to try to cut nobody out, but we will have fun during the next hour. And hold on, let me see what is this. Let me get this together. All righty, there we go. And let me do the banner. Okay. All righty. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I just found out something. All right, let me do this. Where is, come on. Oh, there we go. All right. All right. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Astro-Numerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. I've had some interesting comments over the last couple of shows, which has been very interesting. I always try to, yes, I'm a numerologist, but I try to bring a whole cross section of interest that affects all of us directly or indirectly. But I tell you, I'm going to bring on with us um, four beautiful individuals, and we're all collectively going to put this event on again. In fact, today's show is being sponsored by the Sisters of the Traveling Spread, or STS. Go to stshealing.com. That's stshealing.com to find out what's going on, how you can register, be a participant in it. But before we do, I want to tell you about the cosmic forecast for today. I always forget, but I promise myself to please tell you to like, share, and subscribe. So please like, please share, please subscribe. But this is Wednesday the 19th. This is the last day of Aries. Tomorrow will be a new moon. The sun will be in Taurus. The moon will also be in Taurus. But this is an 11 universal month, a 5 universal day. It's a 5 universal week, a 3 universal day. And so Leos, Aquarians, Aries, Pisces, and Sagittarians, you are the ones that are chosen for today. Or if you're born on the 1st, the 3rd, the 10th, the 12th, the 19th, 21st, 28th, or 30th of the month, this is an equally good day. But actually, whether the day match your sign or match your number, it is still a good day. The fact that, as they say, we get up in the morning is a blessing. All right, now let me get this out the way. Here we go. And now I'm going to bring on everybody. All righty. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. This is
Hello.
going to be a great show. I have with us what you viewers may not know is that this is if you put all together the experiences of all five of us, it's got to be about close to 100 years or more. Seriously, I'm keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? These ain't no Johnny come latelys up in here. These ain't people that's putting on fronts. Every single one of the people you are viewing on this screen has in and of themselves their own experiences. And especially I'm talking about Neena Diamond, who is as far as I'm concerned, the queen of cardology. Okay.
Oh,
That's it. I'm straight up. And then her wonderful daughter, Aquarius Maximus. How you doing, lady?
yeah, I had a nice little Mercury retrograde kind of day, but I'm all
Yeah,
right.
we're gonna talk about
I
that.
survived.
Yeah, and then we have the beautiful Jackie Levine. All righty.
Hello.
Yeah, all the ladies. And I know this guy. He's what's your name?
I'm the living legend. King Simon, the promoter, the producer, numero Veda.
Let me tell you, King Simon really brought life back into my career. And then he had me being featured out in Brooklyn. And every time he would introduce me, it was so embarrassing. I mean, man, just don't know no better. But he is one of the greatest promoters in New York City and perhaps the entire
Mhm.
world. All these guests have one distinction. They're not only great, but they're all authors of their respective crafts, too.
Right.
We're going to talk about that later. But we are going to go to the main person, the one at the bottom right of your screen. And that is you, Neena Diamond. How are you?
I am great. I am. It has been definitely amazing with all of the different things that we have going on out there in the world, and getting us in preparation for where we going in August. Because I know people got lots of questions, and we got the answers.
Very, very good. What initiated this, the Sisters of the Traveling Spread?
Well, me and Aquarius, which is Tavana, my daughter, we've always talked about doing these kind of things, but scheduling and all of those kind of things have always gotten in the way. We've always wanted to have conferences, all of the information and stuff that we've gathered, we knew we needed to share it. So we've always wanted to go out into the world and do this. But, you know, it just happens that you got scheduling conflicts and all of those things that just came about now, where we're able to start doing these things. And, COVID stopped us from getting outside too. So getting back outside and sitting with Jazz, who's really, I have the ideas. I'm not the executioner. And Aquarius was like, stop coming to me with stuff. It's like you get these ideas and then you like, yeah, let's do this. You're like, okay, let's do this, right? So Jazz is the person that really sees the vision, and she developed a website. I mean, she has really crystallized it for us. So got to give her a lot of that Ace of Diamonds puts it together and makes it plain, makes it clear, and then I can say, okay, now I can get out and do my part. But we got to give that to Jazz. Jazz is the wind beneath this one.
Well, Neena, I bear witness, because if you go to my online courses, when you go to Lloyd-Strayhorn to sign up for the courses, it was Jackie Levine that actually put all of it together. If you go to my a Star 8 app, I've just put out a new mobile app for people to use. iPhone users, be patient. You're almost there. Everything is clear. It's just being a little patient. But Jackie Levine put that together. So it is nice, as Simon and I know, you never be afraid to give a person their credit where it is due. And it shows the power of women, other than y'all just looking beautiful, which y'all all looking great on this.
Thank you.
But y'all bring other things. Who came up with this thing? Come to the table. Where'd that come from? What they bring to the table? Go ahead.
With what? With the Sisterhood of the Traveling Spread?
No. This whole phraseology of what they bring to the table, because y'all bring a whole lot to the table if we give y'all an opportunity to express other things y'all can do other than just looking good, smelling good, Aquarius, you're kind of like low key. How we doing today with you?
Oh yeah, I was getting like I said, I think the eclipse and the retrograde is kicking my butt today. So I was navigating that.
Okay, now for those that may not be aware, there is a new moon, but there is an eclipse. So, and then as of the 21st, the following day after this, on Friday, Mercury goes retrograde. Would any of you want to kind of explain that in your own way?
I can, yeah. See, what a lot of people don't fail to realize is that these energies start taking place before the actual day, right? So what the day does is decode the energy. Like you get the finale, but it starts occurring way before. So you can have a theme, So if you want to know how Mercury retrograde is going to affect you, and if you want to know how this eclipse is going to affect you, you need to start paying attention to the last week, 2 weeks before, a couple of days before, because you've already gotten a theme.
So the shadow effect, I think.
Yeah, so you already got you get the preview. The universe is really good to us. It doesn't just hit us with stuff out the blue like we think. If we pay attention, we get the preview ahead of time. So I've been getting the previews. And my preview today was pretty intense. But I talked about it. Mercury is going retrograde on a King of Clubs day. So the day that these transits take place is usually that card will tell how that transit is going to play out. So the King of Clubs is has a bunch of things that goes along with it. Of course, it is the master teacher, master of knowledge, getting downloads and information, extremely sensitive to the environment and extremely sensitive to data and information out there in the cosmos. But it also deals with anger and bottled up emotions and feelings. So for the last couple of days, we've been seeing people, pulling up on people and getting shot,
Yep.
getting this, getting that. We've been seeing road rage. We've been seeing incidents of rage, all King of Clubs like things, which have been anger. And this year, the United States is displacing the King of Clubs. So the United States is in that energy and it's being replaced by the Nine of Spades. So the Nine of Spades is a pretty cut you kind of card as well. You know what I mean? So essentially, you're talking about violent outbursts, cutting outbursts, and then also maybe the feeling of cutting away or stripping away something, or someone or whatever to add to the eclipse effect tomorrow, which can combine cutting away in order to make way for new beginnings. And tomorrow is the eclipse, which is an Ace of Diamonds day. So we got Jackie up there, right? We got
And
our
it's a
Ace
new
of
moon
Diamonds,
too.
right?
A new moon at the same time.
So it's a new beginning. It's a cutting away, and then that's what eclipses are. So this is a solar eclipse. So solar eclipse deals with the masculine, right? So you'll see you'll usually see with the solar eclipse the removal of certain male figures or male people who are in the spotlight. You'll see some type of issues that have to do with them. So already I've been seeing the replay of the Jonathan Majors thing started popping up again, which began a couple of weeks ago. So that's an eclipse moment, right? Because he was in the sun, Leo energy, all of that. And then all of a sudden this incident came up and now he's being taken out of movies and taken out of things. And that's an eclipse feature, right? But we got to also understand that this is a new beginning. So him being taken away one place, there's a beginning that's beginning for him on the other side as well, right? And so lots of gnarly energy right now
A lot
going
of drama, it
on.
sounds like. That's what it sounds like. A lot of drama. But over and
Yeah.
above that, and Mercury retrograde and whatnot, let us now focus on New Orleans. Why was that city chosen? And
Because
what
it's the
caused-
city of witches. It's a nine of clubs. And that's the card of cardology. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And interestingly, New Orleans is very popular with the playing cards and hoodoo. So the hoodoo practitioners use more playing cards down there than they do use tarot cards. So yeah, so the cards are still deeply embedded in that Nine of Clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will one of you like to give, or several of you, or all three of you ladies especially, like to give us a kind of an outline what we can expect? Jackie, want to start?
Sure. So with the Sisterhood of the Traveling Spreads, I know people are like, how did you come up with that name? It's kind of like a modification of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pans, right? But when we look at the spreads, the Grand Solar Spreads deals with cardology. When we do numerology readings, I, for one, use spreadsheets. When we look at tarot, there are spreads. When we look at the cards, there's spreads. When we look at particularly dealing with women, we spread, so it's all about the spreading of just creation of magic. But what was interesting about this is that we started it in my book club and clubhouse with my first book, Knocking from the Inside. And as part of my oral tradition, I would have women from all over come over to the house and we would talk about things and we would heal things. And I started putting numerology in it because it was one thing for us to express our traumas and share ideas, but it was another thing to have tangible tools that we could use. And so we wanted to take this on the road because, as we know, in December of 2020, we had the Great Conjunction. And around that time, we were heavily focused in COVID. And we were locked in the house because if you're here, you know that you're a star seed, you're a light worker, you're a healer. That energy, we are starting to waken up. Our powers are starting to come online with the shifting and the changing of the planets. With Pluto being now in Aquarius, it's really starting to open our eyes and awaken. And so having that separation was done by design, because with these powers coming online, we can't really activate. And so now, yes, we can do this in an online forum, but it's important for us to be face to face so that we can charge off of each other. We're crystals. We need to be charged. We're activated. We activate each other. And so coming in the same space is great for us to learn the tools with both men and women. I know that I mentioned the women to begin with. That was the premise. But the baseline should always start with both sexes, because then we'll have a beginning point of knowledge from which we start. And this is based on the cards, on the numbers. So we're all starting at the same place. And eventually we will then go into our separate factions and deal with the men and then deal with the women separately. But for now, we all need to come together in this space and time, in this moment that our powers are activating, and we're so magical to learn. So we can do this. You can come on and you can learn and get these readings from us, but it's really about the transfer of knowledge.
Right. That is excellent. Now, let me do with you, Neena Diamond. You are really like the anchor for all of this, so to speak. Not to put all the pressure on you, but I mean, you are like, because it's interesting, because when I joined Clubhouse, that's when I came upon Cardology. Actually, what happened is this. I watched Simon's show so I can see who I can have as a guest on my show, right? So I saw Aquarius Maximus, and I asked Simon for her number. I gave her a call. She was talking, and then one thing led to another that led me to you. So when I started my Clubhouse, I actually asked you what card was it, because I started the day after my birthday, and that was on February the 17th. And you explained it was a 8 of diamond or something like that. And I says, would I be correct? Did I get that right?
Yes.
The day after 9 of diamonds, eight of diamonds.
Yeah. And that's when I started my show. It was very successful, but I've had other projects that I worked on. I'm still in the process of doing it. But it was these things that brought, and I was surprised that Aquarius Maximus. Well, not only do you know it, you birthed her. So that added to it too. So it was all these things that led to this. I've been knowing King Simon since the late 80s, 90s, whatever.
We've been around since 88, 89. So
yeah, something like that. We've been around for a minute.
Yes,
and
sir.
so for back to all of us coming together, and what the viewers need to understand, when you come to this event, August the 17th through the 20th in New Orleans, it's going to be an experience like no other. First of all, you're going to be learning a lot. Yes, you're going to be learning cardology, numerology, but you're going to be learning other building blocks to better relationships, things of that nature. That's very, very important. So, Neena, would you want to explain more? Hold up, where'd she go?
What happened to me?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was scary, right?
Yeah. Well, Mercury's retrograde.
I'm telling you,
Got
right?
eclipsed.
Yeah, I got eclipsed, right? Looking at the work that I did as a social worker, the healing, like Jazz says, it took us coming together as women, mostly, majority of the time it was women, and being able to hear our voices. I believe with these metaphysical sciences, we got to talk about it. It's like we're thousands of years behind, light years behind what our ancestors knew and what they put out. So the more we talk about it, the more we become familiar, and the more we hear it, then it starts resonating with us. So but Jazz saying, with us going out and the traveling spreads and having these conversations, because we want to do this in all of the cities. We have so many questions that we get on Clubhouse, we get on Instagram. All of these questions all lead to how I can find a relationship or this, that, and the third. But none of these questions about how can you use it. If you know all of this information and you can't use it, what's the benefit of it? You got to learn how to use it, to alchemize it, to be it, because you don't have to know cardology, numerology, or astrology, because it's you. We are mathematical. We have all of this inside, and we're just remembering now. So and because Pluto is now in Aquarius, right? We're going to be outside. So you might as well get used to being outside. because we coming outside. This is we're for 3 months, it's a preview and then it retrogrades, but it goes in January. This is a whole new one. We talk about the New World Order. I remember sitting with Phil Valentine and all of the greats that I studied with 30 years ago, talking about this New World Order. We are alive in this time. They're going to be talking about us for decades, hundreds of years, talking about how did they do it and what was really happening. So we need to make an impression. We need to make sure that we're in the energy field and getting everything out of it. We don't know what's going to happen, but we know something is going to happen. So preparation is learning how to use these tools, not just sit around and say, oh yeah, I'm an ace of diamonds. What does that mean? What does that really mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean that my life path is 9? Just saying it. No, there is so many little things about you that you can't find in that, but that's you. So when we sit and we have these conversations in places where we can feel the energy and we can bounce off of each other, then I think we can have be able to really alchemize this energy and go back home, use it in our families, use it in at work. If you know this stuff and you working, you ahead of the game. It's like you go to work and you have this person that comes to work every day and you like, I don't know what's wrong with this person. Oh, dig, today's a 2 of diamonds. I don't need to know. I need to know that the 2 of diamonds is somewhere. And I need to learn how to alchemize that energy. So the more we come together and the more we have these conversations, the better we'll be prepared to, especially our children. We didn't get a chance because our parents didn't know how to hand it down. We got an opportunity to get our children ahead of the curve with these sciences. So us coming together is that bridge, that 7 to help people to be able to have that conversation.
Well, it's interesting because I guess with all 5 of us, they're always asking questions, and people would normally ask it's about either relationships or about finances. I mean, that is the top 2. There's no 3 or 4 or 5, really. It's about relationships or money. Now there's this thing, at least from my point, that I'm seeing more people got these angel numbers or whatever the case is that one of the things. I know that's the new labeling for it, but people have always seen numbers at some point. In times of crisis, numbers have been used as a sign or symbol of like, yeah, there's a green light to do things and stuff. But like the questions that people ask you ladies, see, with Simon and I probably ladies ask us different questions. Or does it work the same for you 3 ladies as well?
Well, I think across the board, it depends on it definitely depends on the energy. Right now, I think it's going to be across the board where everybody is trying to find some answers. I think the energy right now, people feel it. They just trying to identify it. They know there's something going on. They feel it. So now they're trying to discover through the metaphysical sciences what it is that I'm feeling. So I think across the board, it has to do with helping them to alchemize it. It's not so much something specific or particular, but there's something that I'm feeling and I'm trying to find the answers to.
I agree with that. Also, too, I think it was Francis Rebels Bay that came on your show. He said that we attract the clients that we can assist. And so when people come to me, they don't really ask questions about love and money. Like that will come up at the tail end of the reading, because for me, it's all about self-discovery. And as Diamond was saying earlier, if you don't know how to use it and apply it to self, then it's useless. Then we haven't done our jobs. The first relationship that we have is with ourselves. And so you can't bypass yourself in order to get to the money, or bypass yourself in order to get to the relationship. That has to be fixed. That has to be addressed. You need to sit in self and really marinate in yourself to really attract what you want. And so getting to that level of attraction, raising your vibration, really understanding what these numbers mean and then how to use it, especially with the cards, because as Diamond was explaining, the days have cards, you have specific cards for the day, you combine that energy. How am I using the energy? It's not enough that it's happening. How am I taking part of it and maximizing it to my benefit to get the goals and reap the benefits that I seek? And so that's what we want to do.
And I think that's very, very interesting, because I too when I do this, I'll have this saying that you can run from everybody, but you cannot run from yourself. So the relationship always starts with you. So people think that when I have done lectures or workshops that, oh, it's how to pick a man or pick a woman or my best mate or this, that, and other. The first person to deal with is yourself. You cannot get around it. No kind of way you can do it. And I think once you get to know yourself, and you, Simon, you ain't said nothing since we've been on here. What about you? What you got to say?
I'm listening. I'm
I
listening.
know you are.
I'm listening. Well, you know, first of all, thank you very much for allowing all of us to come together and allowing me on and allowing all of us on the
This
platform.
is fun. This is fun, Simon.
And thank all of you for tuning in. You know, I echo what everybody's saying, that people have to be willing to do the work. And I purposely, of course, if the word numerology came about in 1907 by a Dr. Julian Stanton, we got to understand that we can change the nuances of all these words because we are the originators of putting words together. Mm-hmm. And that's why I called it numerovation. Because at the end of the day, whether using cards, whether using numbers, we're here to motivate people to be their best self. Mm-hmm. Really, that's it. But it's up, like I've heard Aquarius say, I've heard Neena say on her, I heard Jackie, I've heard you. They have to be willing to put in this work. And it starts with the mind, because free your mind and the rest will follow. You got to free your mind and the rest will follow. Some of us have to unlearn to relearn. In order, and a lot of us are afraid to unlearn it. That's why when I deal with the mental part of at the platform in August, it's important that people get into their mind so their behind will follow. But like the great Sister Myra Mars says, where the logic ends, the intuition goes and starts taking us there. So logic is necessary, but after you got the logical breakdown from all of us, mentally, spiritually, and intuitively, what are you going to do with it? Because everybody know what they're supposed to do. We just reminding. I tell people all these modalities came through to guide us, not to control us. And
Thank you. And you know, Simon, that's exactly why you're on this show tonight, to break that down. Okay. Let me, one of the things I hear nowadays is shadow work.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Ladies, what does that mean for those who are uninitiative about that term astrologically? And
Pluto. Pluto.
It means working with your own deep stuff, your own stuff that has nothing to do with anybody else. It's everything that you got going on. When you take that time and detach from the world and go in and try to figure out what's going on with yourself and do that work, that's shadow work. It's not necessarily that it's bad or working with evil or working with evil or anything. It just means that you're working with the stuff that people don't see. It's the stuff that you got, it's in your shadow, and you're fully aware of it. And sometimes it comes out and people do see, but they don't know where it's emanating from and they don't know, what's going on. They just see the projection of it. But you get to go inside and to work with the root of it, so that you can take and transform those shadows, into power and, empowerment for yourself, because that's what Pluto does. If you're going to mention Pluto can control, but it can also empower, so you can take what controls you and turn it into something that empowers you. So Pluto's not all bad. It's not all good. It's necessary to change things up, so that thing that may be the most oppressive can wind up being your biggest triumph in your life.
That's right. And it's and that's going back to what you were saying, is what people are looking for is that it's a requirement right now. It takes 248 years for Pluto to return. And we are at that point. We've been in the shadow forever, because that's a long time. So we've been in the shadow pretty much, some of us, our whole lives, right? Oh yeah. So we're feeling it, and it's something that people say do the shadow work, but we're feeling it. We're feeling our intimacies with ourselves. The problem is that we'll have somebody in front of us and we'll transfer that energy. Oh, it's you. No, it's you. So Pluto wants you to integrate that ego into and look at it and really, because the ego is a great thing, but the ego has to be integrated into the whole. And people are feeling it now. They're feeling that like Pluto is getting down into the muck and the mire, all that sticky stuff, and it's poking it. And it's like we're bleeding at the spiritual ER right now. It's like, I don't know what to do. It's like Pluto is saying, you just do the work. It's like we have to get up every day with the intention of being the best that we possibly can be. We got to learn how to be kinder to each other. We got to learn how to be kinder to ourselves. Mental illness is not a bad thing. It's a part of who we are. It's what you go through. It's not that you get stuck there. It's like there's something that's happening and something is telling you you need to do it. And you have to do the work. And that's what we want to do at this conference, is have tools. So when it comes up, you don't feel like it's just you. It's not. It's not just you. We are all in this ship together. And on the July the 4th, in 2 years, we're going to see that ship land. So we want to be able to have the tools and talk about the tools and take them home and to our communities, to our children, our churches, our synagogues, and say, no, you're okay. You're good. I feel that too. So we know that it's not just happening in a silo, because that's what mental illness is when you're not able to say what you are going through because of fear of judgment.
And I want to ask this too. Is there a card assigned to the word accountability that seems to be a challenge with people? And what
King
card
of Clubs.
Who?
King of Clubs.
I heard of him. What does that mean?
You talk about accountability, I would definitely be the King of Clubs.
Your Mars card. The fact that you bring it up is like this everything that's happening on the King of Clubs day is definitely going to be something that you're going to be using for a long time.
So I'm telling you myself, right?
Yeah.
King of Clubs is definitely personal accountability, because that's what makes you the master. You know what I mean? Like that's mastery. That's how you gain mastery, is through personal accountability.
What about the word responsibility?
I'm sure somebody in the chat.
I think that's about the same thing.
I know. People seem to have a reactive word to accountability and or responsibility. To me, it's just saying another word. Like if you get a bruise on your arm, a doctor will call it a contusion. It's really the same thing. It's just the semantics of the word you use. And yet a lot of people, like, words is interesting. And maybe that's one of the things I might get into that seems to put a notch on people, or reaction like submissive. I think people misunderstand that too. So it's like you're going to be not understanding that submit. We all have to submit to the Creator. When we get up every morning, we have to submit when we go to bed at night, praying that we will get up in the morning. So it's little things like that. So
but remember, Lloyd, some of those things conflict with each other. Numbers that conflict, cause conflict. So people have conflicts that they don't necessarily know how to navigate, because all of this is coming together inside of your energy field, but you don't know how to navigate it, because it's not necessarily responsibility. We live in a Jack of Diamonds. The United States is a Jack of Diamonds, right? That's the card that governs it. And all Jacks, there's no such thing as responsibility for a Jack. It's like, I help you get there, but I ain't responsible for nothing. So the Jack of Diamonds is just here as is like the foundation for us to do what we have to do. Now, of course, it's been exploited. Your responsibility is to yourself first. Jack of Diamonds has taken it and made your responsibility to them. So you don't even know what responsibility is, because you have not been solvent. It's like, how do you get your solvency? How do you learn how to stand in your square? We don't even talk about that. It's like you step out into the mundane world, which is upside down, because we spend so much time in the mundane and we don't spend enough time in the spirit world. So we're awakening to that through Gemini, which is a higher consciousness. Gemini is a higher consciousness, and then Virgo is making it make sense. So we need to learn how to listen. It's like we're sitting here talking. Each and every one of us has a consciousness that's looking at us. right? Because
Mhm.
each and every one of us are trying to, express ourselves, but our consciousness is like, you can't express me. And
It's
we don't
interesting
know that.
you say upside down, because literally today I got a lesson from a priest who was teaching me that the reason why we can't see spirit or the spirit world is because we see upside down.
Yep.
And when you get upside down, you can see the spirit world, which is why I believe that the masters meditate on top of their heads upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're able to see the world from their spirit eyes versus from the physical eyes when you're standing right side up. So it was crazy. I was just having that conversation today. It was a juicy conversation. And she mentioned upside down. I was like, oh my God, I was just talking about that. We were just talking about that today.
Yeah, and anybody want to chime in? This is
that's interesting. In martial arts, that's what we used to have to do, balance upside down. Like Dr. Moses Powell taught Anthony and Soke Littlejohn and showed us how to stay upside down. And we had to stay upside down or balance upside down, head upside down, and sometimes stay in that position for a certain amount of minutes. So we can get used to being upside down and be able to handle whether it was falls or throws and not be thrown off of balance. But of course, there's a spiritual component to it when you go to the spiritual side of martial arts. A lot of jiu-jitsu is more hard. That's why some are taking Tai Chi to bring out that spiritual, the yin and the yang balance.
The softer side.
The softer side.
Yeah.
So that was very important for us. And so I still do the upside down to this day.
And it's interesting because in yoga, of all the positions of yoga, the supreme position is the headstand.
Headstand. Yep.
Yes.
That headstand.
I still do the headstand.
If you can, I do the headstand too. I was doing it. No, I wasn't doing it this morning. But anyway. But the point is, no, I'm serious. I am into taking care of me. And people have to understand, we only got one go around with this. This is not like life is not like a video game. You get zapped and okay, I'll start over again. When you get zapped, that's a wrap. That's it.
Zap is a wrap.
yeah, seriously. And so if people need to really understand that. And I mean, everybody don't have to learn how to do headstands, but also part of it is about being the consciousness, being aware, so you can be better, more harmonious to yourselves, and then that spreads to others. But I've seen it because I live here in New York City, and this is a tough town of people walking, talking to themselves, and women too. Because I was told a long time ago that anytime you see a woman homeless in the street, that's not a good sign for its nation.
It's not, and that's the New York City is the king of spades, so that's a whole thing. But Mimosa said that the card for upside down is the king of clubs, so we're going to witness that on the king of clubs day. So having those, and it's not doing yoga and doing all of these things is not to say it's anything that is that especially we were talking about that with us having fun and stuff like that. But you got to be here. You can't leave. You might as well have a good quality of life. You could walk outside and say, I'm going to walk in front of that bus. And universe said, I don't care. And you could sit in a wheelchair for 40 years. So since you're here, just have a good quality of life. But you are here, right?
But
yes. And the first, what were you about to say?
I said, speaking of upside down, so here's another one for you. So you look at the 9, right? And you look at the 6. And upside the 6 is looking up. And the 9 is looking down. So you want to reach the 9 so that you can see it from a higher perspective, from the perspective of spirit, than the 6 from the perspective of the material world.
Right. That's the yin and yang symbol. That's the yin.
Yeah. It's interesting because in the chapter of Revelation, they said, here is the beast, it is the mark of man, which is 666. And when you add those 3 numbers together, adds to 18, which adds to 9, which is the number upside down. So 6 represents peace and love, 9 represents war and aggression.
And the number 18 is also solar value for the 5 of clubs, which is change. It's a change of the conversation. So they need to have a change of the conversation. You can't have one conversation. Something is going to come and change that conversation. So this is where we're upside down. It's been distorted for you to think the conversation is not going to be beneficial because it's going to be. And we know this is happening. One thing for sure is we're smart enough to know that there's a change happening. The more we stay asleep, the better they are. Because once we wake up, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
And let me say this too, because what's interesting when you speak of the 18, metaphysically, the 18 represents the power of mediumship, the ability to go in and out of the visible and invisible world. So, I mean, so there's a lot of symbologies in the good book, as they say. There's more than just being aggressive or things of that nature. But when we disrespect each other, that is a warlike mentality. When we sometimes take advantage and attack our elders or shoot each other, all this craziness, that is the mark of the beast.
Well, like I said, New York is a king of spades, the most powerful card in the deck. It's fixed. You can manipulate from that place because people are fixed. You have New Yorkers that have conversations that if they left New York, they wouldn't have that conversation anymore. So once you're in New York, you're fixed to it. Once you get out of New York, you're like, I don't even know why I had that conversation. That's the king of spades. You're standing with God, right? But who is God in New York? Think about that. Who is God? So you standing with God, but you're standing with God that has been introduced to you from a child. You're not standing with the universe. You're standing with the God of New York City. All of the things that they say, if you can make it here, all of the songs, all of the magic, the concrete jungle, everything about New York, the
Babylon.
the mysticism of New York is
Babylon.
It's your God. So you don't know anything other than the fact that New Yorkers will fight you for that. It's like, I'm gonna fight you for you. I was descending into New York on an airplane, and I was like, you are not gonna tell me that's beautiful. You're not going to tell me this is a beautiful sight descending into this city. But people are like, this is the most gorgeous thing. I'm like, I'm not going to say it's lights, but that's not, and the lights take away from your connection with the universe, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, what I want to do is pause a moment because I want to showcase each of you individually about how people can get in touch with you. And Neena, I think we're going to start with you. Okay. And there's a couple of things you need to know. And first of all, this is her website. It's Neena Diamond, Cardology teacher. Actually, she's extraordinary. You got to hear her on her Clubhouse. I say, how did she do that? But anyway, so this is her site, livinguniversity.com. Her email is diamond857@gmail.com. Her YouTube is diamond8. Her IG. The one thing I got to give you, Neena, you are consistent about that 8 because 8 is about the money and all those other things too. And by the way, to go with this, you're going to be covered up a second, but this is her latest book. And let me get the banner out the way a second so you can see the full title of the book. And tell us about this Cardology workbook a second there.
Well, we started this, Aquarius and I started in 2014 with Cardology, right? And it was so amazing. We always talked about, we really wanted to share this with the world. But I do the grand solar squares, and it's not easy to find anything out there on the grand solar squares. So I wanted to put it in a book where people would be able to sit with it on their own and discover the grand solar squares. I have a book club. We meet every Thursday, so you can sign up. It's free on my website where we do discuss the book. I appreciate you buying the book. It's not a requirement to be in a book club, but it's something that I think you should purchase because it's my book, right? But we
feel the same way. Go right ahead.
So the book was so many years of data that was inside of me that I just wanted to get out and not to keep having the conversation all of the time and starting in the beginning. So the book was just a child that I birthed to put out there. And hey, it's dope. I love it. It's my book. So of course I do love it. But we do have, we have great discussions on Clubhouse and we reference the book. Everywhere that we go, we're referencing the book when we're having those conversations because, Aquarius talks about this all the time that we're going back. We're self-published. We're going back to that time where books are going to be, you can self-publish a book, and with AI right now, people are spitting out books like it's nobody's business.
And so what's amazing is I think all 5 of us have published our books self-published. Yeah. Every single one of us on this screen, on this that you
Yeah,
want?
well, we have to do that because with the publishing industry, they have specific agendas. And so unless you meet the agenda that they put out, getting an agent to represent you is one of the hardest things. And two, getting a publishing company to stand behind your vision is few and far in between. So if unless you have the stamina to go through like 92 rejections before you get to your 93rd, and
You're
you
not
finally
lying.
get to the yes, then it's best that you just put it out yourself. And then once it gets a buzz, the publisher may pick it up and then you can get it commercially published. But then you give up ownership and you get a percentage of your work. And so you really have to balance, do I want to put something out and be the sole owner of it, or do I want to be in partnership with somebody who then has rights to what the universe has given me to say?
I'm like James Brown. I don't want nobody to give me nothing.
Yeah.
Open the door.
I'll take it myself. Yeah, that's right. There you go. There you go. Number 3.
Read.
Aquarius Maximus. Now, this is you. We're going to put the spotlight on you. How people now are all this information correct? Your contact number, your website, your IG, your Venmo.
Yes, that's my information.
Okay, and this is your book that's also available. Let me take the banner off a second. This is your book that's available on Amazon.
Yep, about to have a few more drop.
Yeah, you did
Working
something
really
I was looking at.
diligent.
I was looking at something earlier on YouTube where you had a streaming something back in 2009 or something like that.
I did? Oh, wow.
Yeah, at least your name came up. But that's how that goes. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is
Wow, that was a long time ago.
yeah, but this is how you get in touch with this beautiful lady right here. Everyone on here brings to you their very uniqueness, their very specialness about them, and let there be no exceptions to that. All right, next. All right, shall we do with you, Jazz Aphrodite or Jackie Levine? This is you. All right.
This me. Yes. So holla at your girl. I do readings. I do one-on-one teachings with students. And I also do mentoring and coaching. And so, like they said, I run the gamut of things that I do: design courses, building websites, all of a sudden, which seems to be my shtick too. But definitely hit up my website to get the first book. Well,
And this
book
is your latest book.
Yeah, this is the latest book. But just a caveat, there is no 10% off now because that has already passed. And so if you're ordering it at the full price, which is still worth it. So the book is in full colors, 222 pages. So it definitely is worth the money. And it cost me a lot to make. But Numbers Decoded, Cards Unfolded is a creation that is long in the making. Definitely have been told from the first book that I would need to make that book, which is interesting. And so now that I have heeded and listened to the universe and co-created it with Source, I'm very proud of it. It teaches numerology from a practical perspective, because oftentimes when people hear numerology, the first thing that they go to is the life path number. Like, there is so much to numerology.
Yeah.
And so what it does, it gives you a deep dive into self using the numbers and taking you through all of the different concepts, how you put them together, how you blend the numbers, how you tell the full story of one unique individual. Hopefully that's you, if you have the book. And then the second part is dealing with the cardology and grand solar spreads and how to interpret and do different calculations and put those stories together so that you have the full picture of both in one book. And I want to give a very, very, very welcome and grateful shout out to Lloyd for writing the introduction to the book. And then also Neena Diamond for allowing me to publish her grand solar spreads in the book as well, and to be a part of that creation. So that is the second book, and then the first book, which will always be my baby, which inspired the second book, is Knocking from the Inside. And this is a book that's my memoir, but it goes through a 9-year journey. You know, I'm always talking about the pinnacle cycles and what they mean, but a 9-year journey with one relationship that really took me through the ringer. And I was in a 7 pinnacle lesson. We're in a 7 personal year. And so it really pushed me to get to the root of my spirituality, to find out why things were happening the way that they were happening. And I used numerology, cardology, and astrology to get to those answers. So it's a fun read. It's very action packed. It's all about life. It's going to
Yes, ma'am. It's yes.
cry. It's going to make you mad.
Gonna ask you. You're gonna ask your question. What is really wrong with Jackie Levine?
Let me tell you this, and I'm going to tell you
what was wrong.
if
What
you
was
heard-
wrong, right?
when I'll tell you this, when Jackie read this book, her book,
Right.
Knocking from the Inside on Clubhouse, I mean, it got so scandalous. I tried to tune in as many Tuesdays or whatever I could to hear it, boy, to put in my little 2 cents. And the nice thing, Jackie was open enough to not just the women, but to get the men involved. So things I would hear as a man, I said, that sounds weird. That doesn't sound, you know what I'm saying? So it was just an amazing work. And so that was it for the most part. So those are her 2 books, Knocking from the Inside.
Thank you.
And also,
But the recordings is still up on Clubhouse, right, Jazz?
They're all
People
up.
you can still go to Clubhouse and listen to her reading her book.
and they are just as juicy when they first came out. Okay. It's like, what? Okay. Now I got to introduce, save the best for last, my buddy, King Simon. King Simon, what's up with you, man?
What's up, family? Yeah, of course, my course is on Udemy, which Jackie did also. She also did that.
And it's also considered a bestseller too.
Yeah. Well, not the numbers, and numbers are simple. People are complicated. I'm talking about numerovation course that she did. She did that on there for me. And of course, Jackie is a wonderful soul for doing something like that. And of course, I have 4 books and 6 more I'm writing. Numbers are, I do subject. I go straight to the subject. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numerovation for mental stability. Numbers are simple, people's health is important. And children's health is important. And of course, I deal with no promotion is bad promotion, talking about my life and promotion, a motivational book on promotion. But family, everything that you could get, all my books you could get on Linktree. And also I have cards out now. I have my own deck of cards that will help motivate you. And it's not really like tarot. It's really just something that you could just make your energy be a part of it and then drop those cards for yourself. All of them have very distinct affirmations on each and every one of them, give you the positive, negative of each and every number. And then we go, keep it simple. I keep it simple, keep it stupid. like I was taught in certain military. Keep it simple, keep it stupid. Because I want people to get the basics. And if you need to go deep, then go ahead and study. But if you get, like Moses Powell used to say to us, and most of my martial arts teachers used to say, if you master the basics, then everything will fall into place. Master the basics. And that's what I'm about. And numerovation, which is one of my babies, is because, like I told Lloyd on his last show that I did with him, is a book because 2 of my friends took their life. That book was supposed to be something else. It was supposed to be dedicated to women, really, not mental health, but it was a book of women. And the woman that took her life actually allowed me to put her silhouette on the book. But she died, she transitioned. And then I just said, wait a minute, when is her birthday? She's born on the 13th. And my best man to my second wedding, he died, took his life. He born on the 13th. I said, oh my goodness. And Lloyd been saying that number 4 is one of the suicides. So I just went on a quest to go and find out what are all the patterns of the depressive numbers. And I put in all those patterns. All the numbers have their little depression, but I put in the main patterns of numbers, the 4, 7, 8, 5, and 3. I put in the main patterns to show you where it could all go. And I was glad to hear from a lot of, and I don't even take testimonies. There's a whole bunch of testimonies. I don't even put them up on website. Look, what I do is what I do. When I'm gone, I'm gone. And then you keep on doing. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
We're not going to be here forever. You better take the information and go and take it up to the next level. You don't have to take away from it. Just add on. Keep on building. That's what I want. Keep on multiplying. That's what I tell my children. And I got 12 grandchildren and 9 children. So I know what this is.
I got 15. I got 15 grandchildren.
Catch up.
I was going to say you have 15 children. I'm glad
15 grandchildren.
Okay, good. I was just checking.
I'm about to catch up. And that's only from 4 children.
That's me too. I only got 4 children.
Oh, dear Lord, that's only from 4 of them. I got 9 children. I got 4. Right?
Well, let me say this too, for what it's worth. One of my proudest moments is that for people who don't know, if you go to Google and click the best selling numerology books of all times rated from 1 to 100, King Simon and I have a distinction of being on that list. And we're not down like 85, 86, 87. No. We up there in the top. If they did the top 50, the top 40, Simon and I are there.
Yay! That's so dope. Oh, congratulations.
And Simon is a newbie compared to me. I've been doing this for a minute, as you know.
I know, because you started me all of them decades ago. So
yeah. So the fact that he achieved that, and I'm with him, it is an honor for he and I. So you got to understand the class of people that you are witnessing on this screen tonight.
That's why I can't stop shouting you out, Lloyd. You know that every book.
I do the same for you. I can't talk as good as you with this, but, you know, you're a master at this. But here's what we want to do, and I want to get back to the main.
Can I say one thing about Jazz first before we move on?
Certainly can, dear.
When we were in class, Jazz put together this PowerPoint that blew my mind, right? But every class, I learned something about myself. So my name is now Neena with 2 E's. It went from Nina to Neena. Every class, I changed a vibration about myself. And it has been phenomenal. So if you do not, if you don't have access, there's at times that we have different things going on, get the book. I watched her create that book. It's her baby. And I keep it by me. It's not nothing that I'm not going to check that vibration, because we can change it. We can change the vibration. We can't change, that legal stuff, the names and all that. So they say, but I'm still working on that. But we can change our vibration. I'm Neena with 2 E's, right, Jazz?
Yes.
Yep, that's sexy, all that 5 energy.
All that 5.
So since we're talking about names,
that picture with you talking about
names. Since we're talking about names, I'm about to permanently change my name to Aquarius Maximus. So I'm retiring legally and retiring my government name forever.
Wow. I didn't know you had another name. It was
well, I gave her a name. It is my government.
I do. I'm about to file for my name change.
Let me ask you how that works, because I know sometimes the vibration of your former name still stays with you.
It's still because my name is a King of Diamonds.
Right.
So that King of Diamonds obviously is going to be with me, but I want the easy way out. So I want the Queen of Spades. So the Queen of Spades, by the way, is not supposed to lift her finger. She's not supposed to work. She's supposed to put others to work.
Me.
And so I want to move away from being the workaholic King of Diamonds and doing everything myself, which is what a King of Diamonds will do. Even though they got employees and running the business, they will still try to do everything themselves because they're perfectionists. Wow. They have an 8 of clubs in Saturn. They do things so wonderfully, and it's really hard to actually duplicate a King of Diamonds. They're very gifted. However, as a King of Diamonds, you need to not be doing everything. That's a quick way to the grave. So I want to fully adopt and move into my Queen of Spades, so I could just be a bougie woman and live up in my palace somewhere, and everybody else do the work, and I just do. And
I'll make sure I come and visit too. That's what I'll do.
You come visit, she gonna put you to work. I suggest you stay away.
I'm gonna put you to work. That's the Queen of Spades. But no, seriously though, Queen of Spades is allergic to work because the Queen of Spades has the 7 of Spades in Mars. And so Mars in 7 of Spades is like, if you move too fast, that's hurting yourself. That's accidents. That's whatever. You gotta chill. So in Mars, you really gotta chill.
See, this is one of the reasons why they all need to be at this event. Okay. And in fact, this edition of this segment of Live with Lloyd is sponsored by STS, the Sisters of the Traveling Spread. Make sure you go to stshealing.com. That's stshealing.com. Notice they kept it simple, not complicated. STS, okay? And just see. And actually, we would look forward more so to you being there. And so this is going to be very important. somebody.
Can I just say something, Lloyd, before we switch over?
Yes, please do. Please do.
So it's important that you all start to register now because we have a payment plan. And so the first payment is due at the end of this month. We could extend it to the beginning of May, but we can't push it too far in. But this gives you the opportunity to have 4 months to pay. We also have an option where you can pay outright. And then if you're going to be in the New Orleans area and not necessarily coming through to the hotel, we have a price for that as well. So please be proactive about your planning. I know we like to wait till the last minute to do things, but because this is a formal conference in a real hotel, we have stipulations and requirements and things that have to be due at certain dates. So please don't prolong it. If you know that you want to come, start registering now. One, because spots, we need to make sure that the spots are there for you, but also because we just want to make sure you have enough time to pay and you're not overwhelmed by paying at the last minute.
So I want to end by giving a personal thank you to this beautiful lady here, Neena Diamond. I have been seeing her on Instagram next to somebody I don't know. It almost make me jealous, but I know she's smiling. As long as she's happy, that's okay. And also a special thanks to, of course, Maximus, because it was your daughter, which is how eventually led me to you. So
Yes.
everything has connections. Everything has connections. And also this beautiful and priceless lady here, Jackie Levine, because let me tell you this, I have a Learn from Lloyd series, okay? I ain't gonna put the screen just on her. So as you know, if you go to my website, I've got the Learn from Lloyd series, How to Read a Person Like a Book, The Next Step in Numerology, but the do's and don'ts of numerology, Jackie and I put that together. So she's the co-creator of this, and I'm gonna always give her props. So not only did she able to put it together with the professionalism of her job experience has been, but also to put it together with me. And in fact, I will say also with Neena, when I enrolled in her workshop and I learned, and you know how long I've been doing this? I learned from this lady. So I'm just giving you your props. And as for this guy, well, I love this guy. You know what that is.
I have all their books. I have everybody's books, and I'm learning also. I'm studying.
I got everybody's books in here. So everybody, I want to thank you very, very much. I want to close, but please make sure that you go to check this out, okay? There's going to be a lot more promotions going on, but do yourself a favor and get ahead of the curve. Meet some of these deadlines that are required to get you there in August. This is very important. It's the Sisters of the Traveling Spread and the website to get the particulars, to register, to meet these deadlines, to get there and really, and it's going to be fun. And, you know, it's going to be serious, but it's going to be fun at the same time. So go to stshealing.com, stshealing.com. And I want to thank these ladies because they sponsored tonight's show. All righty.
Right. And it's going to be proactive, people. This is not, it's about applying knowledge, not just getting the knowledge and then running away. You got to apply it. I'm going to make sure you work. I'm going to have a board out if I have to. We going to work.
I might be doing a PowerPoint, so I'm going to be all up in your business. So y'all going to be proud of me. But that's how we're going to do it.
Real time work. Real time. Right there.
Can I say thank you to Rel, and Rel is in, and especially to my family that's watching, my family that's watching, that supports us. Thank you. We do not take you for granted at all. Rel is a 9 to club. She knows she is my girl. We've been together for a minute, but thank you to everybody that is supporting us and sharing and liking and doing all of that stuff.
And speaking of Empress Rel, I'm trying to get her from behind this to get her on the screen so people can see what she does. She said she did. So, you know, she promised me and I will keep her to it. I'm a little persistent with things when you promise. So I want to make sure she's on. But to you, Neena Diamond, love you much. Aquarius, love you much. Jackie, you know, that's a given.
Love you.
Simon, you are my man. Simon did so much for me. I will tell anybody. Y'all can talk about him bad. No. Simon has really did a lot for my spirit, my career, my attitude, and really brought me back out. And for that, I really honor you, King Simon.
And I want to tell everybody, look out for my new television series on Forbidden Knowledge TV. About to come out next couple months. We're in post-production right now. So I got to just send a lot of stuff. And I definitely shouted out my brother Lloyd. I had to, because it's just not, it wouldn't be right. You know what I'm saying? And that's so yeah, wherever I go, he goes all the time. People don't
vice versa. You see, we tagging along with these ladies. You see that, right? Okay, that speaks for itself. All right,
hey, that's a party when they put us in there together. It's a whole party. It ain't no retreat. It's a party.
Everybody, I want to thank you very, very much. This has been so great, and I hope we didn't read anybody, but hopefully, if you paid attention, what's happening, there were messages in between that you can take with you now. And if you want to get in touch with all of them, all of their banners were on the screen, so you can contact individually or collectively or as a couple or whatever the case may be. Every single one of them will be available to be of help and service to you. And with that, everybody, I want to say thank you very, very much. You'll have a beautiful, beautiful weekend.
Thank
and
you.
A safe one. Oh, and let me say this. My audiobook is on sale. There's a 15% discount. And you know how, and let me tell you, Neena, how I got this was I did a clubhouse and a woman said that she could not, she had some visual challenges. Mm-hmm. And that was the catalyst to make me spend, this is 8 hours and 44 minutes of my recording, and I recorded in my own voice. But this is a special discount. So go to the website, my website, lloyd-strayhorn.com, take advantage of the promotional code, and that should help you. Everybody, other than that, I love all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, group. This has been great.
But Lloyd, don't go yet. Aren't y'all singing me happy birthday? Like, what's going on?
Oh my God. Oh my
birthday.
Tomorrow's her birthday.
Oh my God.
Happy birthday to you, Jackie.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, girl.
Happy birthday to you.
Birthday, girl.
Happy birthday. Happy.
Enjoy. May your pain be champagne, like TK.
That's right. Rose all day.
Popping
I like
bottles.
that. Yeah, we're going to join the party. Everybody, y'all have a day. And to you especially, Jackie, thank you for doing what you've done for me. Because you, like Simon, actually, let me explain this before I go. I would always tell people, no matter where you go on this planet, if you know a person's birthday, you could survive. You could make a living. You didn't have to be a professional person or whatever the case is. And when she took my course and put it on this platform, Udemy, by the way, you can register through my website, lloyd-strayhorn.com. That's where you go to get the discounts, okay? lloyd-strayhorn.com. And just get that straight so we stay focused, all righty? But she proved it because I am now in 90 countries around the world, and my course is translated into 30 languages. And as of this date, it started in 2020 of February, I now have 1,000 students enrolled, which shows you the universality of our crafts and whatever the case is. So I honor your birthday, girl.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you. That's so dope.
Thank all of y'all. I'm so honored to be a part of this group, so I'm happy.
Happy birthday.
Well, that's why we all going to hang out on the summer of August. All right, from the 17th. Don't forget, it's the STS healing.com. STShealing.com. Please go there. And I want to show it one more time so y'all don't get it. Let me see. Okay, get it right here. This is it. And it's going to be, I've never been to New Orleans, but whatever it is, I'm glad y'all picked that city because it'd be one city that I've yet to go to. Simon, you want to say something before we close?
I want to say happy birthday to my mother on the 21st of April. Her birthday's the next
day. Yes.
84 years. She'll be 84 years. So
that's
happy birthday.
That's why I'm in town. I'm at the Airbnb in town, right here in New York, Brooklyn, New York, right now. So she don't even know I'm here. It's a surprise.
And see, you made the right move. You made the right move too.
Exactly.
Good. Everybody, y'all take good care. Love you all much. Thank you so much.
Love you.